In the spring of 2017, in the small, quiet town of Bright Hollow, Massachusetts, a family seemed to lead an ordinary life, albeit one marked by daily responsibilities and challenges. Maria Fernandez, a 38-year-old single mother, was known in the community for her hard-working nature and her dedication to her children. Daniel, 19, and little Sophia, just 6. Maria had managed to keep her home afloat despite economic difficulties, working as a manager at a local grocery store. Her story reflected the resilience and strength of many women who, despite adversity, kept their families together. Daniel, the oldest son, was in the transition to adulthood. Although he had dropped out of college after one semester, he was finding his way while working part-time at a mechanic's shop. His relationship with his mother was good, though not without friction, especially since Maria, due to her grueling work schedule, was increasingly dependent on him to help out around the house and care for her younger sister. However, Daniel often felt caught between his mother's expectations and his desire for independence. Little Sophia, on the other hand, was the center of attention in the house. With her inexhaustible energy and childlike curiosity, she filled the home with life. But caring for such an active child was no easy task, and Maria soon realized that she needed help. That's when she decided to hire a nanny. That's where 23-year-old Ana Gomez comes into the picture. Ana Gomez was a college student who had started working as a nanny to pay for her graphic design studies. Originally from a neighboring town, she had an impeccable reputation as a caregiver. Her former employers spoke highly of her patience, responsibility, and love for children. But Ana also stood out for her appearance. A tall young woman with light eyes and shiny brown hair that was always perfectly groomed. Although her character was affable, her physical attractiveness did not go unnoticed. Maria hired her in June 2017 after a brief interview where she was impressed by Ana's warmth and expertise. Her primary role would be to care for Sophia during the afternoons and evenings when Maria had extended shifts at work. The routine was simple: pick Sophia up from school, supervise her playtime, help with dinner, and put her to bed on time. At first, everything went smoothly. Ana quickly settled into the family, and Sophia adored her. But there was something that Maria could not foresee: the dynamic that would begin to form between Ana and her eldest son, Daniel. At first, Daniel and Ana's interactions were superficial. Ana would arrive punctually every afternoon, greet Daniel politely if he was home, and then go about her work with Sophia. However, as the weeks went by, moments began to emerge that, although seemingly innocent, would mark the beginning of a more complex relationship. Daniel, who used to be reserved and somewhat distant, started spending more time at home during Ana's work hours. He found excuses to stay in the living room while she played with Sophia or prepared dinner. He started offering to help her with small tasks, such as cleaning up after dinner or supervising Sophia while Ana picked up her things at the end of the day. Ana, for her part, seemed to enjoy Daniel's company. Although she initially treated her conversations with him as casual, she soon began to seek his attention more actively. There was something about the intensity of Daniel's gaze, his mixture of awkwardness and curiosity, that aroused in her a feeling of complicity. However, neither of them yet recognized that these interactions were more than simple gestures of courtesy. By the fall of that same year, Daniel and Ana's relationship began to transform. It all started with small details: a smile that lasted a little longer than usual, a seemingly trivial conversation that extended beyond what was necessary. Daniel, who had never shown much interest in women due to his shyness, found himself increasingly fascinated by Ana. Her presence unsettled him and, at the same time, attracted him in a way he could not explain. Ana, although aware of the age difference and family situation, couldn't help but feel flattered by Daniel's attention. There was something exciting about the intensity with which he looked at her, the way he always found a reason to be near her. Soon, what started as a casual friendship turned into something more complicated. On one occasion, during a rainy afternoon, Ana and Daniel found themselves alone in the living room after Sophia had fallen asleep early. The conversation, which had initially revolved around music and movies, took a more personal turn. Daniel confessed that he felt lost in life, that he didn't know which path to take. Ana, in a gesture of empathy, took his hand to comfort him. That contact, although brief, marked a point of no return. They both felt something deeper at that moment, although neither dared to admit it. Meanwhile, Maria remained oblivious to what was happening at home. Her routine did not allow her to pay much attention to the subtle changes in the dynamic between her son and Ana. Her trust in Ana was absolute, and she saw in her not just an employee, but an ally who helped her maintain balance in her chaotic life. However, some details began to catch her attention. She noticed that Daniel, who used to be quite carefree about his appearance, was now putting more effort into grooming himself, especially on the days he knew Anna would be home. She also noticed that their interactions with each other seemed more frequent than necessary. But Maria attributed this to the good relationship Anna had cultivated with the entire family and decided not to give it much importance. What Maria didn't know was that this relationship was about to cross a line. As winter approached, Daniel and Anna began to look for excuses to spend more time together. They took advantage of the moments when Sophia was asleep or when Maria was working late. The conversations became more intimate, and the attraction they both felt became undeniable. Although they tried to keep up appearances, the tension between them was palpable. On a particularly cold December night, while watching a movie after putting Sophia to bed, Daniel, full of nerves, dared to confess his feelings for Anna. He told her that he knew it was inappropriate, but that he couldn't help what he felt. Anna, although surprised, admitted that she also had feelings for him. What began as an innocent friendship had evolved into something much more complex and dangerous. The next few days were marked by a whirlwind of emotions. Although they both knew that their relationship was risky, especially under the same roof as Daniel's mother, they couldn't help but let themselves be carried away by their feelings. They decided to keep their relationship a secret, confident that they could handle the situation without anyone noticing. But what none of them knew was that their secret was destined to come to light, and when it did, the consequences would be devastating. The beginning of 2018 brought with it an air of clandestinity to the Fernandez household. Daniel and Anna, intoxicated by the excitement of their secret relationship, became experts at hiding their romance. They found furtive moments to share caresses and whispers while Sophia slept or when Maria was out working. The adrenaline of the forbidden seemed to fuel their connection even more. One particularly quiet afternoon in January, Daniel convinced Anna to watch a movie in her room while Sophia played in the yard. They closed the door and immersed themselves in a bubble of complicity that seemed to isolate them from the outside world. However, what they didn't know was that their increasing recklessness was bringing them ever closer to being discovered. In mid-February, Maria began to notice changes in the family dynamic. During a weekend when she was off work, she observed Daniel and Anna exchanging glances that seemed more intense than usual. She also noticed Sophia, in her innocence, frequently mentioning how Daniel always helped Anna. This lit a small spark of suspicion in Maria, but she chose not to confront them directly. She was too busy dealing with the stress of work and raising Sophia to give any weight to what she considered mere imaginations. But that spark soon turned into an alarm when, one night in March, Maria unexpectedly arrived home early. She had finished a shift earlier than usual and decided not to call home in order to surprise Sophia and enjoy an evening with her family. When Maria entered the house, she noticed a strange silence. The television was on, but there was no sign of Anna or Daniel in the living room or kitchen. She decided to go upstairs, thinking that perhaps Anna was putting Sophia to bed. However, what she found when she opened the door to Daniel's room left her paralyzed. Daniel and Anna were together, hugging each other in a moment that left no doubt about the nature of their relationship. Maria's face went from surprise to anger in a matter of seconds. In a tone of voice that mixed disbelief and fury, she exclaimed, "What the hell is going on here?" Daniel, visibly nervous, tried to explain himself, but the words would not come out of his mouth. Anna, for her part, remained silent, her face flushed and her hands shaking. Maria did not wait to hear any excuse. She immediately ordered Anna to leave the house. "I want you to leave right now. Don't ever set foot in this house again," she said as she pointed firmly to the door. Anna tried to apologize, saying that what had happened was a mistake and that she had no intention of causing trouble, but Maria would not listen. The nanny hurriedly gathered her things and left the house, leaving Daniel and his mother alone in a tense atmosphere. After Anna left, Maria turned her attention to Daniel. "How could you do this to me?" "To me?" "To our family," she scolded him, raising her voice. Daniel tried to justify himself. "You don't understand, Mom. I love her." That confession only made Maria angrier. What kind of love is this? It's disrespectful. It's a betrayal. Anna was an employee, someone I trusted to take care of your sister. And you ruined it all. The argument lasted for hours. Maria, hurt and disappointed, tried to make Daniel understand the inappropriateness of the situation. while he insisted that what he felt for Anna was real. In the end, Maria made it clear that she would not tolerate this kind of behavior any longer and demanded that he cut off all contact with Anna. Daniel, though hurt, promised to obey. However, inside him, his mother's decision stirred a mixture of resentment and despair. He loved Anna and did not want to lose her, but he also knew that defying his mother would only make things worse. For her part, Anna could not accept the way it had all ended. She felt that Maria had been unfair and that she had no right to decide about her relationship with Daniel. The anger and humiliation she experienced that night quickly turned into an obsession. Anna began to devise a plan to get rid of Maria so that she could be with Daniel without interference. For weeks, Anna secretly followed Maria, observing her routines and looking for vulnerabilities. She learned that Maria often walked alone to the parking lot behind the store where she worked. She also discovered that night shifts left her exhausted and distracted. Anna thought that if she could make Maria disappear, her relationship with Daniel would blossom without hindrance. On April 12, 2018, Anna decided to act. She bought a knife and latex gloves from a local store and began preparing her attack. She was convinced that with Maria out of the picture, Daniel would be willing to go through with it. However, she didn't count on one crucial detail: Maria's survival instinct. Anna chose a Friday to carry out her plan. She knew that Maria worked late and would walk back to the dark, lonely parking lot. That night, Anna hid behind a dumpster near Maria's car, waiting for the perfect moment to attack her. When Maria finally appeared, Anna came out of hiding and tried to attack her. But Maria, although surprised, managed to fight back. In the midst of the struggle, Maria screamed for help, which attracted the attention of a security guard patrolling the area. Realizing that her plan had failed, Anna tried to escape, but was stopped before she could get very far, and was arrested that same night and charged with attempted murder. During questioning, she confessed her motives, claiming that she had acted out of love for Daniel and that she believed Mary was an obstacle to his happiness. The story sent shockwaves through the community of Bright Hollow, and the trial became a topic of discussion throughout the state. Maria, although deeply affected by what had happened, testified at the trial, saying that she would never have imagined that Anna was capable of something so terrible. Daniel, for his part, completely distanced himself from Anna after learning of her attempted murder. The young woman was found guilty and sentenced to 15 years in prison. After the trial, life in the Fernandez household was marked by a heavy silence. The family, already struggling before the tragedy, now had to deal with the emotional and social aftermath of the attempted murder. Maria, although she had physically survived the attack, was deeply wounded in her trust. The fact that Anna, someone she had trusted completely, had tried to kill her left her with a feeling of vulnerability that she could not shake. Daniel, for his part, was devastated. Although he had decided to cut all ties with Anna, he couldn't help but feel guilty about what had happened. He knew that their secret relationship had triggered the tragedy, and the weight of that responsibility consumed him day after day. Communication between him and his mother became strained, almost non-existent. Maria, although she tried to understand her son's feelings, couldn't help but blame him in part for having allowed Anna to get so close to the family. Sophia, in her innocence, did not fully understand what had happened. She knew that Anna was no longer coming to take care of her and that something bad had happened, but she did not understand the gravity of the situation. For Maria, protecting her daughter from the dark details of the incident became a priority, but also an emotional burden. The news of Ana Gomez's attempted murder and trial became a topic of interest in the local media. Sensational headlines not only recounted the events, but speculated on the story's motives and moral implications. Ana was portrayed as an unstable young woman, caught between love and obsession, while Daniel and Maria were presented as victims of a tragedy that had shaken the foundations of their family. The trial, which lasted several weeks, drew dozens of curious onlookers to the courtroom. Maria's testimony was especially powerful. In a firm voice, she described how the attack had changed her life forever. When asked about her relationship with Anna before the incident, Maria admitted that she had never seen any signs that anything was wrong. She was like one of the family. "I never imagined she could harbor so much darkness in her heart," she said during her testimony. Anna, for her part, tried to explain her behavior. Through tears, she confessed that she had lost control and that she had not intended to hurt anyone, but that she had been driven by desperation and fear of losing Daniel. Her words, although emotional, failed to move the jury. She was found guilty of attempted premeditated murder and sentenced to 15 years in prison with no possibility of parole for the first 10. After the trial, Daniel decided to move away from Bright Hollow. He felt the shadow of recent events haunting him at every turn, and he thought a change of environment would allow him to start over. With financial support from his mother, he moved to Boston, where he found work in a machine shop and began taking night classes at a technical institute. Although physical distance helped him escape the accusatory stares of the townspeople, Daniel couldn't escape his own thoughts. He constantly wondered if he could have done something differently to prevent disaster. On the loneliest nights, he remembered the happy times he had shared with Anna before everything fell apart. However, those memories were tinged with guilt and regret. Daniel also tried to repair his relationship with his mother. He called her regularly and visited her every 2 months, although the conversations remained awkward. They both knew that the incident had created a rift in their relationship that would be difficult to heal, but they were determined to try. For Maria, returning to normality was a slow and painful process. She continued to work at the grocery store, though she now took extra steps to ensure her safety, such as changing her quitting hours and asking a coworker to accompany her to the parking lot in the evenings. She also began attending therapy, something she initially considered unnecessary but which ultimately helped her process her emotions and rebuild her confidence. Sophia, on the other hand, became the driving force that pushed Maria to keep going. The little girl, unaware of the magnitude of what had happened, continued to fill the home with laughter and energy. Maria focused on giving her daughter as normal a childhood as possible, enrolling her in extracurricular activities and organizing family outings on the weekends. Although the memory of Anna was still present in her mind, Maria promised herself not to let that episode define the future of her family. Meanwhile, Anna began serving her sentence in a state penitentiary. For the first few months, she tried to adapt to her new reality, although she found it extremely difficult. She received occasional visits from her family, who tried to comfort her and offer her support, but she also faced scorn from other inmates, many of whom viewed her as a threat due to the violent nature of her crime. In prison, Anna began attending mandatory therapy sessions, where she explored the events that led to her attempted murder. Slowly, she began to recognize the errors of her behavior and take responsibility for her actions. However, regret did not erase the pain she had caused, nor did it alleviate the guilt she felt for having betrayed the trust of a family that had once taken her in.